Okay, let's just jump right into it. We are about to tackle a question that sounds, well, a little weird, but trust me, it's one of the most surprisingly profound questions in the science of how we grow up.
I know, it sounds like the setup for a joke, right? But this question is so much more than that. It actually won an Ig Nobel Prize, and not because it's funny, but because it made scientists first think and then learn something absolutely fundamental about how we all become who we are.
So, how in the world does a weird question about garlic lead to serious, groundbreaking science? Well, let's peel back the layers on this one. Pun definitely intended. You see, the researchers behind this weren't just messing around with spices. They were chasing a really big idea. They wanted to know, does breast milk transmit more than just nutrition? Could it also be transmitting culture in the form of flavor? So, why garlic, of all things? Well, because it's basically the perfect tracer. I mean, think about it. Garlic is packed with these powerful sulfur compounds that can change the smell of your breath, even your sweat. The scientists figured, hey, if any flavor is going to make it from a mom's stomach into her breast milk, it's got to be garlic. That made it the ideal marker for their experiment. And you have to remember, at the time, this was a total black box, a genuine scientific mystery. Sure, there was plenty folk wisdom, lots of theories, but actual hard data? Nope, it just wasn't there. So the researchers were trying to answer three key unknowns. First, does flavor from food even get into the milk at all? Second, if it does, are babies sensitive enough to even notice it? And third, and this is the absolute key, does it actually change what they do? Because, if their behavior doesn't change, then from a biological point of view, it doesn't really matter. So to find the answer, researchers back in the 1990s designed this brilliantly simple yet incredibly rigorous experiment. The way they did it was just so clever. Mothers took a garlic capsule one day and a placebo, a totally blank pill, on another. But here's the crucial part. It was double-blind. That means neither the moms nor the researchers knew which day was garlic day. That's super important to prevent any bias. Then, all they did was watch and precisely measure everything: how long the baby fed, how many times they sucked, and whether they seemed content or fussy. Now, everyone had a pretty good guess about what was going to happen. A strong, pungent flavor like garlic, surely the babies would hate it. But the results, well, they were not what anyone expected. And this right here is the big reveal, the total shocker. The assumption was that a strong foreign flavor would be a turnoff, causing the babies to reject the milk, but the reality was the exact opposite. When the milk smelled of garlic, the babies latched on and fed for a significantly longer time. And let's be super clear here. It wasn't just that they fed longer. There were zero signs of disgust, no turning away, no crying. In fact, some of the babies were reported to be even calmer during the garlic-flavored feeding. This wasn't a negative experience for them. It was an engaging one. So what in the world does this all mean? The fact that babies didn't just tolerate garlic, but were actively interested in it, completely changed our understanding of how we develop. And what's so crucial to understand is that this one little experiment didn't just add a new fun fact to the textbooks. No, it completely shattered a core belief about how we learn to eat in the first place.
Yeah, this quote just says it all. For the longest time, the scientific community had pretty much assumed that a baby's palate is a blank slate, that our tastes only start to form once we begin eating solid foods. This research proved that idea was just completely wrong.
Instead, what science revealed was this beautiful chain of learning. What a mother eats directly flavors her breast milk. The infant experiences that flavor. And this early exposure starts building a foundation for their future tolerance and even their preference for different foods. Learning to eat doesn't start with the first spoonful of peas. It starts with the first drop of milk.
And this wasn't just some abstract finding. It had huge, real-world consequences. It led to a big rethinking of that old advice that told nursing mothers to eat a super bland diet. It helped explain how cultural food preferences, a love for spicy curries or pungent cheeses, get passed down. And it really helped ease the anxiety of so many parents who were worried that something they ate might be rejected by their baby.
So the legacy of this simple experiment with a garlic capsule is so much bigger than you'd think. It offers a lifelong lesson about learning itself.
This study, and others that followed it, all point to a single, powerful conclusion. Learning what's good to eat isn't an event that just starts with solid food. It's a continuous journey that actually begins in the womb, carries on through nursing, and continues long before we can form any conscious memories of it. And this forces us to redefine what picky eating even is. It's not necessarily just a personality trait or a lack of willpower. It might be a reflection of an experience history with flavors, a history that starts way, way back. A less diverse history could naturally lead to less tolerance for new foods later on.
So what happens when a mother eats garlic? The answer is beautifully simple. The baby learns one more of the world's flavors. And that single step, that small exposure, may just be the very origin of our preferences, our culture, and our ability to enjoy the rich diversity of all the world's cuisines. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the silliest sounding questions can lead to the most profound answers.